Welcome to this video of aspireforgmat.com. Before attempting this question, please take the practice test at www.aspireforgmat.com and then verify your answers against this video, which will be available after you answer the question at our site. The link for the free Aspire for GMAT course is also available in the description box below. Just register on the site and enroll for the course. There are many such tests available. If you have any doubts or queries that you would like us to clarify, post in the GMAT forum and we will answer your questions. Our instructors can also solve these problems in a video which will be available at our site for your benefit. The next question we are going to deal with is this one. X is an integer and x raised to any odd integer is greater than 0. Is w minus x greater than 5 times the quantity of this particular expression? Now if you see in this question initially gives us two bits of information which are very important. X is an integer, so it's a whole value. It's not a point, it's not a decimal value, it's a whole value. And x raised to any odd integer is greater than 0. So if you raise x to any odd integer, say y, x raised to y, so that y is an odd integer, it will be greater than 0. Now this also means, now y could be a negative or a positive value. We are not very sure of that. Since it's mentioned to be an odd integer, let's think it's just an odd integer. However, x could be, nothing is mentioned about whether x is positive or negative. So since it's just an integer, it could be a positive or a negative integer value. However, since it's said that x raised to any odd integer is greater than 0, it has to be a positive integer. And the question basically asks you to confirm whether w minus z is greater than 5 times the quantity of this expression. And these are the two supporting evidences or statements given, and you have to verify whether these statements suffice or not. Now let's solve the question. Now let's see how we solve the question. Now let's see how we're going to solve this question. Now what we know from the question is that x is a positive integer. This is known to us. Sorry, we know x is an integer, not a positive integer. And x raised to any odd integer, say y is an odd integer, now we know that x raised to y is equal to some value that is greater than 0. Now see, if I raise 5 to minus 1 or 5 to say 1, or for example let's even take another two examples, 5 raised to minus 2 or 5 raised to 2. Now this is going to be 25, this is going to be 1 by 25, this is going to be 1 by 5, this is going to be 5. However, all these values are greater than 0. Now if I take x to be a negative value, for example let me take x is equal to minus 5. Now minus 5 raised to minus 1 is going to be minus 1 by 5. Minus 5 raised to 1 is going to be minus 5. Minus 5 raised to minus 2 is going to be minus 1 by 25. Minus 5 raised to 2 is going to be minus 25. No, it's going to be of course 25. So but anyway we've been told here that this power is going to be an odd number. So this case is applicable only when the power is an even number, say 2, 5, 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. However, we are going to have only odd powers, so it will never turn out to be positive. It will always turn out to be negative, because minus 5 raised to 3 is always going to be negative. Minus 5 raised to power 5 is always going to be negative. You already know that. Because of these situations, this will always give us a value less than 0. Since we know that the value is greater than 0, we also know that x is a positive value. So now these are the things we know. X is a integer, it is positive, y is an odd integer, so that x raised to y is greater than 0. Now we've been given two statements. The first statement is this one. Z is less than 25 and w is equal to 7x. Now what are we supposed to find in the question initially? We need to know that first. We need to find whether w minus z is greater than 5 times the quantity of 7 raised to x minus 1 minus 5 raised to x. This is what we are supposed to find out. Now this question gives us the value of this z. It says that z is less than 25. And it also tells us that w is equal to 7x. So here we know that this value w is equal to 7x. So now let's substitute these values here. So it becomes 7 raised to x minus, it will become, say let's take the maximum value 25. Is it greater than 5 times 7 raised to x minus 1 minus 5 raised to x? This is the question, correct? Now let's expand this. 7 raised to 25, let's make 25 5 square greater than 5 into 7 raised to x minus 1 minus 5 raised to x plus 1. Because you have multiplied this 5 with this 5x, it's going to become 5x plus 1. Till here it's clear. Now let's see how we're going to solve it further. Now if you see these expressions, 7 raised to x, 7 is a positive element, x we already know is a positive integer. We just derived that x always has to be positive for x raised to y to be greater than 0. So x is a positive integer. We also know here also that x is a positive integer. Now when you raise a constant to a positive integer, say x, and you raise the same constant to another positive integer which is 1 less than the previous positive integer, that is x minus 1, it's going to be smaller than the first value. So 7 raised to x minus 1 will be smaller than 7 raised to x, right? However, here we have 7 raised to x into, now 7 raised to x minus 1 into 7 is equal to 7 raised to x. However, if I write 7 raised to x minus 1 into 5, this is going to be less than 7 raised to x, right? We know 7 raised to x minus 1 is nothing but 7 raised to x by 7 into 7. So this is equal to 7 raised to x. If I however multiply this by a value less than 7, then it's going to be smaller than 7 raised to x. So we know that the first value in this expression, this 5 raised to 7, 5 into 7 raised to x minus 1 and this 7x, we know that this value is smaller than this. Now, so this value is greater than this. Now, if we can prove that this value is also smaller than this. Now, see, if you have a greater value minus a big value minus a small value, and here you have instead a smaller value minus a greater value, then this expression will always be big, right? This will always be greater than this. Similarly, we have already proved that this part of the expression is greater than this. Now, if we could prove that this part of the expression is smaller than this, we would know that this value is greater than this. This expression here is greater than this. Now, how do you prove that 5 square, can you prove whether 5 square is smaller than 5 raised to x plus 1? See, here again, we know that 5 square is not exactly the value of z. We know that z is less than 5 square. We also know that x is a positive integer and it is an integer and it is positive. So x has to be at the minimum 1. Now we know this z is not exactly 5 square. It is something less than 5 square. So let's say it's 5 raised to maybe 1 or maybe say 24. Okay. And x is 1, so x has to be minimum 1 and 5 will be 1 plus 1, 5 raised to 2. So 24 is less than 25. So you know that this second part of this expression, that is this z, is always smaller than this expression, right? So by what we already know, a greater number minus a smaller number greater number minus a smaller number. So for example, let's take a greater x greater minus x small minus y small minus y greater will always give an expression. When you try to find out this expression, x greater minus y small and x small minus y greater, you will always see that the LHS will be bigger than the RHS. If you go by the same, it's basic understanding. So if you go by the same analogy, you would see that this part of the expression is always greater than this part of the expression. So proved, this one is sufficient, right? This one is sufficient. Now if you take the second part of the question that says x is equal to 4. Sorry, it does say x is equal to 4? Yes, it says x is equal to 4. Now this just gives us the value of x, right? We were supposed to find out whether w minus z is greater than 5 into 7. Now x is equal to 4, so 7 raised to 3 minus 5 raised to 4. But we still don't know what the value of w is and what the value of z is. So this is completely useless to us. We cannot determine without knowing what the value of w and z is, whether this statement or this particular equation is true or not, holds or not. So this is insufficient. Now let's see the 5 options that we have. We have these options A, B, C, D, E. We know that A is sufficient, but we know that 2 is not sufficient. So B cannot be the answer. B says that 2 is sufficient. C cannot be the answer because B is not sufficient and A is already sufficient. So B cannot be the answer. E also cannot be the answer because E says both of them are not sufficient. We know that A is sufficient. D also cannot be true because it says that B is sufficient and A is sufficient individually. However, we know that the second point was not sufficient. So A is the only possible answer, and therefore A is the answer for this